Hi, I'm Christy and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm here with the mid-year book freakout tag. So first of all, I can't believe that it is already July 1st and we are halfway through 2023. That is so wild to me. I can't believe it. But I'm so excited to do this video. So since I started my channel last summer, this was one of the first videos that I did, and I am so excited to do it again. I love watching everybody's answers to these. It's always a fun time to see how everybody's highs and lows of the year have been. And yeah, I just can't wait to jump into it. There are, I believe, 14 questions for this one. I will put them in the description of this video so that if you see this tag video and want to do it as well, you can definitely grab those questions and go do it on your own channel and maybe tag me in it so I can check it out as well. So let's see. First of all, I can't believe that we're already halfway through the year, like I mentioned, and there have been so many great reads, so many new to me authors that I have loved this year, which I will get to with one of the questions soon. Let's see, for the year so far, I have read 256 books. It is July 1st, so I am on track to meet my Goodreads challenge of the year. Hopefully everybody else is having amazing reads for the year as well. So yeah, we'll just jump into the questions. So the first question is best book you've read so far this year. So mine is An Optimist's Guide to Heartbreak by Jennifer Hartman. This is the first book in her Heart Song duet, and I loved this book so much. I read it in January when it first came out, and I loved it. I loved the whole duet as a whole, but the first book just really hit different for me. I want to reread this one every single month. I love it that much. So this one is basically Grumpy Sunshine. The heroine ends up coming back into the hero's life, and so they were childhood friends along with his sister as well, and after some loss and some things that happened when they were teens, they got pulled apart, went their separate ways, and so she's back in his life and trying to get back in there, open him up. He's definitely a cold, broody hero, which I eat up, and so I just love the dynamic, and it's so emotional and just so good. I love this book so much. The heroine is one of my favorite heroines of all time. Love this book, can't talk about it enough. Question 2 is best sequel you've read so far this year. So I have 3 of them, so we will get to them all. First up is Echoes of You by Catherine Cowles. This is the second book in her Lost and Found series. This is, of course, small town. It has childhood friends to lovers, has a very uber protective hero, it even has that who did this to you energy, which I love to see. Love this one so much. It means so much to me. It's one of my favorite Catherine Cowles books of all time. Can't get enough of this book. And then the second one is The Right Move by Liz Tom Ford. I think everybody who's read this one loved it this year, and for a good reason. This is the follow-up to Mile High, which that one I thought was just okay, but this one blew me away. Loved it so much. It was actually almost going to be my favorite book of the year. It's that good. This one, the hero is a basketball player, and the heroine ends up becoming his roommate, and she is best friends with his sister. She's a flight attendant, and yeah, it's just so good. Can't get enough of it. The hero in here, Ryan Shea, if you know, you know, he's so good. And then the next one is On Thin Ice by L.A. Cotton. This is the second book in her Lakeshore U hockey romance series. So good. The first one was pretty good, but this one just blew it out of the water. The hero in this one is a major alpha hole when the story starts, hates the heroine, assumes the worst about her, but you come to realize that he kind of hates everybody except for his mom, his teenage brother who has autism, and then eventually the heroine as well. And yeah, he just has the weight of the world on his shoulders, and I loved seeing their romance, and it is just so good. I ate this one up. So question 3 is a new release you haven't read yet but want to. So I have 3 again for this one. So first up, I have King of Pride by Anna Huang. This is the second book, the follow-up to King of Wrath. Can't wait to read this one. Have been meaning to get to it since it released. It's been on my Kindle since then, and I need to get to it ASAP. Then I also have Citadel by Claire Kent. This one just released a couple days ago, so I'm not too far behind on it. But this one is the next book in her post-apocalyptic romance series, which if you know and you've been watching my channel since last year, you know I was obsessed with that series last year and couldn't get enough of it. So yeah, I'm very excited to jump into this one. And then also, this is another cop-out. It just released today on July 1st, but it is Shut Out by Avery Keelan. This is the follow-up to Offside in her hockey romance series, and I cannot wait. This one was supposed to release in June, but got a release date pushback to July 1st. Can't wait to dive into it. I'm so excited. So most of those are newer releases, but I keep up with romance releases, so I'm not too far behind, thankfully, and have just a few more to get to. Question number 4 is most anticipated release for the second half of the year. So again, I have a few. So first up, I have The Good Girl by Nikki Sloan. This is the 5th book in her Nashville Neighborhood series, which I love it so much. This one comes out in August. I love the cover. I can't wait to read this one. Next up is Ice Bet by S.J. Silvis. This is the second book following Weekside, which I loved by this author. This one I believe comes out in the fall or winter, so still have a while to go, but I cannot wait for it. And then another one is Salt Kiss by Sierra Simone. This one I believe comes out in September, and I cannot wait. I read the prequel to this one earlier this year and just dying dying for this book. This is an MMF retelling of Tristan and Isolde, however you say that name. It's a retelling of that. The prequel was amazing and I cannot wait. And then the last one for most anticipated release is Meet Your Match by Candy Steiner. This is the first book in her new hockey romance series. Have been dying for Candy to write a hockey romance and I cannot wait. I actually got an early release of this at Book Bonanza. She already had the book out. It comes out later in July. Can't wait to get to it. So question 5 is biggest disappointment. So I have a few on here for different reasons. So first up is Secretly Yours by Tessa Bailey. This one, her last few books in general have just like been kind of misses for me. And this one in particular just kind of like put that final nail in the coffin for me with her books. So yeah, I didn't love this one and I probably won't be that excited or check out any more of her books in the future. So yeah. Next up is Praying for Rain by B.B. Easton. I did this one in a vlog a couple months ago and I had been really excited for this series. For years it had been on my TBR. And so I jumped into it thinking it's like post-apocalyptic and all of these things. It definitely takes a turn there and it's not really post-apocalyptic. So yeah, that was kind of like a disappointing read for me and I didn't continue on with the series. Next is The Coldest Winter by Brittany C. Cherry. This is her newest release that came out earlier this year. This one, her last few books in general, besides like her Christmas one, the rest have been just kind of like misses for me, which is super sad because I have loved her books for years. But I think I'm going to stick to like her backlist reads because those are definitely ones that I love and enjoy more. Another one is Until I Get You by Claire Contreras. This one I heard it was dark, hockey romance, so addicting, so good. I jumped into it and I felt like I was reading a completely different book than everybody else. Like it just was a major miss for me. So yeah, this one's jumping on the list as well. And then another one was The Portrait of a Duchess by Scarlett Peckham. This one, I didn't hate it. Like I think I ended up giving it 3 stars, but it was definitely disappointing because I had been looking forward to this book for years. I loved her previous books. I've read all of her books, all of her historicals. The Rakes, which was the first book in this series, was one of my favorite reads when it came out. Loved it so much. So I have been anticipating this book for so long and it was just like so lackluster compared to that one. So that's why it's on this list as well. And the last one is When a Moth Loved to Be by Pepper Winters. This is the only book that I've given 1 star to this year. I rarely give out 1 stars. Like I think I've given out 2 in the past, I don't know, 5 or 6 years. So yeah, this one was sold as like a dark fantasy romance. It was just so not the jam for me. So yeah. All right, on to some better things. So question 6 is biggest surprise. So I have 3 for these as well. And these 3 are going to be on my list for very specific reasons. So all 3 of these, I had read the authors in the past and wasn't a super fan of their books and was actually going to like stop reading them. But these 3 books I all gave a chance to and they surprised me, blew me away, loved all of them so much. So that's why they are the biggest surprise to me. So first up is Love Me Today by A.L. Jackson. I had read 2 books from this author previously, didn't really enjoy them. Like they were very forgettable. And I decided to jump into this one because so many friends were loving it and I am so glad I did. It's definitely my new favorite from her and I'm excited to check out future books from her. So good. A small town. The hero becomes the guardian of his niece. So it kind of has a like single parent vibe. The heroine ends up becoming the nanny. It's set on a ranch. There's horses. So good. The hero is one of those heroes who doesn't think he's capable of love. And he's just like kind of broody and has this like sad backstory, which works for me so well. Loved how the heroine's like super feisty with him. So good. Loved it so much. Sinner by Sierra Simone. Loved this book and ate it up so much. Like I loved it so much. I had read Priest from this author as well as a couple of her other books in the past, like the Thornchapel series, American Queen. All of those were kind of like misses for me and I didn't get the hype. And I decided to continue on anyways and read Sinner and then again Saint as well. Loved both of those so much and I'm so glad I didn't give up on her because I'm obsessed with like her writing now and just can't get enough of it. And then Help Me Remember by Corinne Michaels. This is the first book in her Rose Canyon series. I love this one. It's an amnesia romance and it has brother's best friend. It is so good. I was so addicted to this book. I had read this author in the past and I thought her books were okay and I kind of like gave up. They were kind of like hit and miss for me. Didn't read her for maybe like 3 or 4 years and then jumped into this series this year. Loved it. Loved this one so much. Blew me away and I was like, oh, I need to like check out more of her like current books then. Question 7 is favorite new author, whether it's a debut or a new to me author. So I have quite a few here and I have loved so many of their books. I think they're all new to me authors and none of them are debut ones. First up is going to be all of my hockey romance writers that I've been loving. So we have Veronica Eden, which she wrote Iced Out, which I absolutely loved. I have S.J. Silvis. She wrote Weak Side. Loved that one so much. L.A. Cotton, I talked about her earlier with On Thin Ice. Loved that one. Ate it up. Another hockey romance. Avery Keelan, she wrote Offside. Loved that one so much. Again, those are all of my hockey romance authors that I have been loving and eating up. Then we have Christina Forrest. She wrote The Neighbor Favor, which I absolutely loved so much. Lulu Moore, she wrote The Third Baseman, which is a baseball romance, second chance. I loved that one so much. Liz Tumford, already talked about her with The Right Move. So good. Cannot wait for more books in the future from that series. Jess Wisecup wrote Between Wrath and Mercy. It is an adult fantasy romance, second chance. All of the characters are older. They're in their 30s and 40s. So good. Love that book so much. It's underrated and more people need to read it. And then Emily Silver as well. I read one of her sapphic romances earlier in the year, which was A French Fling. Loved that one. And then I ended up reading one of her small town romances, Yours to Hold. Loved that one as well. So I'm excited to check out more books from all of these authors in the future. Question 8 is newest fictional crush. So I have 2 for these. So first up is Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez. And I have Jacob. So he is the sweetest, most genuine, like good guy heroes there could ever be. I love and adore him. He needs to be protected at all costs. Like, love him so much. He has anxiety. I totally related to some of the things that his character went through. Ugh, like he is just perfection, like a super sweet hero, and I love him. On the complete opposite side of that, we have a major alpha hole from a historical romance, which is Trevor Sheridan from Lions and Lace by Megan McKinney. One is a Gilded Age romance. The hero rose from poverty and made his way up. He's like super wealthy. He like works on Wall Street, all of those things. And the city's elite still snubs him and his family. And so he goes on this giant like revenge track to help out. Like they all didn't show up to his sister's like debut or society ball. So he decides to take out all of these like wealthy families one by one and ruin them. So good. Like someone who puts their family first, which is what he does. Love to see it. He's definitely an alpha hole, so you have to be okay with that. But like he is one whose actions speak more than his words. So like you can't take him for his word of things he's like saying to the heroine. You definitely have to read between the lines and see what he's actually about and actually for, because it's just like so good. Like I loved him so much. And then number 9 is newest favorite character, which those heroes are definitely my newest favorite characters, as well as the heroine from the Jennifer Hartman book I talked about earlier, An Optimist's Guide to Heartbreak. So good. Love all of those so much. So question 10 is book that made you cry. So I have Hello Stranger by Catherine Center. This one just comes out in July, but I had an audio arc of it and love this book so much. Like I think I cried 3 or 4 times. It's that good. This one, the heroine actually ends up getting facial blindness after a surgery. She's a portrait artist. She needs to be able to see faces. It's temporary, possibly. So she's going through all of that. And like the journey that she's going through as well with like her step family and her father and the romantic relationship, like it all just worked so well for me. And I loved it so much. Like the ending had me crying, as well as the author's note at the end of talking about how important like romance reads are. Just so good. Like I loved it. Question 11 is a book that made you happy. So I have Get Thee Off My Lawn by Daria Vernon. This one is adorable. So it's a historical romance. The heroine goes to her neighbor's yard to get back her swan, which is her pet. And when she goes over there, she meets the hero, and it is like his father's property that she's on. And so it becomes their like little romance. It is so good. Like I mentioned, it's a novella. It's on Kindle Unlimited. Definitely check it out. Like it's so charming and so witty and so funny. Question number 12 is most beautiful book you have acquired this year. So I think we all know around here I'm a special edition junkie. So I have so many new favorite books. Like that's going to be super hard to narrow it down. A recent favorite was this gorgeous edition from Eternal Embers, which is for Tryst Six Venom by Penelope Douglas. Like so stunning. The hardcover, the sprayed edges, the details. Like this book is stunning. Came with like character art and then an overlay as well. So good, so beautiful. My favorite are my special editions for Sarah J. Maas. One is from Illumicrate, one is from Fairy Loot. First one is from Illumicrate, and I have the reverse dust jacket on here because I loved the character art on here. Here is the interior. It's just so stunning. I love the sprayed edges. Also came with like scene overlays as well. Just so good. I love this edition. I love this series. I love this author. I love this book so much. Then the Fairy Loot edition came with this gorgeous slipcase and the special edition cover and the sprayed edges, which is how I have it displayed out. And yeah, just stunning. And we get some beautiful character art in here. And we have the saying on the back as well. Like they are both stunning. So yeah, I'm obsessed with both of these. I have the matching ones for House of Earth and Blood as well, the second book in the series. Not going to pull those down, but they look similar just with art from those books. So yeah, I'm so excited to have both of these. I do not regret getting them at all. This is one of those authors that I love all of her books so much. This series means so much to me. I've reread them, I think like 3 times at this point. I love these books so much. Like she's an author of whose books I would absolutely grab if there was an emergency. Like if I had to get rid of all of my other books, she's one that I would definitely keep. So yeah, no regrets. Love them so much. Question number 13 is, what books do you need to read before the end of the year? Absolutely all of them. That is one of the things that I want to do, is read all of the books. So that's why I'm always pushing to read more books, and why my book reads of the year is always so high. Like, there are so many books I want to get to every month, every year. I'm always finding new books. Like, I want to read all the things, all the books, all the time. And then question 14 is favorite book to movie adaptation. I had to think about this one for a while because I was trying to think of book to movie adaptations I have watched this year and enjoyed. So the only one I could think of was Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. That was a TV adaptation, but I absolutely adored it. That was one of those books that I love on its own, as well as I love what they did with the series as well. Like, I can see them as two separate things. They were similar yet different, but I absolutely adored both. And it's just like so well done and so good. So yeah, those are all the questions for the mid-year book freakout tag. Let me know in the comments what maybe some of your answers would have been to these, or if you do a video as well. I'll leave the questions in the description of this video so you can go do it as well. So if you haven't done so yet, make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss out on any of my future videos, and I'll see you in my next one.